Good morning, traders. Happy Monday and welcome back to the Trader Bacon Show. I'm your host, Gates Adams, the Forge Trader, and I am so pleased to be back here with you guys. As you may have figured out from last week's episode, I was traveling and not wanting to break the rhythm of the show. We took an opportunity to run a test and pre-recorded an episode. I hope you guys liked that. I hope it was helpful and meaningful and also did not break the rhythm, which is, of course, super important to me, but also wanted to make sure that we brought out some really, really good content. But I am back live. It is Monday morning, what is today, the 20th, I suppose, and I am here live with you guys. Hey, John, always great to see you. We've got a phenomenal show for you today. Now, first and foremost, before we get into that, I want to share a few things. First of all, of course, as always, if it's time, we're going to be giving away 3 evaluations during the course of this live show. You've got the form there in the chat. Make sure to take a moment to fill that out. That will give you a chance at winning one of those 3 Apex Trader Funding evaluations. Also, of course, if it's time to add to or replenish the arsenal, or maybe you're a first timer, make sure to go to apextraderfunding.com. Use promo code Benzinga. This will always give you the lowest price available on any evaluation, any size. So make sure to take full advantage of that. Also, of course, as I mentioned, the Forge Trader, I have not been doing a ton of content outside of this show. As you know, I generally have the Forge Trader podcast. I do a lot of stuff on my social media. I've been working on a project that has had me pretty focused in for a little over a month now, and I'm at a point where I should be able to get some more fresh content out. So be sure to follow me on socials at the Forge Trader. Also, you can go to theforgetrader.com/join, and this will be first announcements of all of the stuff that I've been working on. So if you're curious, if you want to see what it's all about, make sure to go to theforgetrader.com/join. You'll get that advanced notification. I'll also be pushing this out on social media as well. So take full advantage of that. I'm going to leave that hanging there as a tease. So also, last week's winners, even though I wasn't here live, we did give away 3 winners for the evaluations for Apex Trader Funding. So congratulations to Ryan, David, and Abhishek, I hope. Anyway, congratulations to you guys. You should have gotten all of the information on that. And again, just make sure to fill out the form there in the chat. We will be giving away 3 more today, and we'll be announcing those next week live. All of that said, if you were here 2 weeks ago, you had an opportunity to meet Jay. Jay is a trader from Korea. He came from the world of poker and has transferred a lot of the skills and is now transferring back and forth between poker and trading. A lot of those skills transfer very, very effectively. We're going to have a similar story today. In fact, today's guest, Ryan, is actually works with Jay in both capacities, in the world of poker and in the world of trading. May have a similar story, but of course it's going to be his take and his perception of what he's learned in the world of trading as he's continued to make this a bigger part of his life. So let's welcome today, in fact, I believe the biggest influencer in Korea on prop firm trading, Ryan, on today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now. Ryan, good morning, man. How are you?
Good morning. How's it going?
Good. Now, your morning is a little different than my morning right now. It's almost lunchtime for us, but you're in the wee hours, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a midnight here.
Midnight, so barely morning. Well, thank you for staying up and hanging out with us and sharing some of your insights. Now, I know you're a trader. I know that this is not necessarily out of the ordinary for you and your schedule, but again, I appreciate it. I know for me, if I was on off hours and I wasn't trading, it would take something important for me to stick around and maybe not go to bed early. So I definitely appreciate that. So let's talk a little bit about your background and how you got into the world of trading. I kind of teased it a little bit, and we also talked to Jay a couple weeks ago, and I know there's some similarities in the stories, but let's talk about you and how you got into trading in the first place.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Ryan Han. I'm from Korea. So I actually studied in the States. So I went to the States in 2008 for college. I majored in neuroscience at Columbia University in New York. Um, the interesting part is that the tuition there is very expensive. I was
Yes.
getting a little bit of scholarship. My parents were supporting me, but I always on short, for tuition and paying for rent and food. So for all my summer vacations and winter vacations, I was playing poker as a full-time job.
Right.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that I met a bunch of like online professional poker players because I was a losing player for a long time. And once, when I was grinding in Macau, I met one of my French friends, and he taught me a lot about different strategies. We ran a lot of simulations on online. So yeah, from that point on, I became a winning player. So I just grinded, for tuition and rents and everything.
I want to talk about that phrase for a second because we can see your Instagram there is grindinglife_Ryan. You're talking about grinding in the world of poker. And we were talking about it a little bit before the show started. And for those that maybe aren't familiar with the term or maybe have used it in a different way, explain to us what you mean by grinding life. What is grinding to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So a lot of people, when they think about professional poker players or full-time traders, they think that we're making like tons of money, right? But
Right.
yeah, but in reality, it's like winning maybe $50, $200, $500. Sometimes we lose the $300. So
Yeah.
it's like we call that as a grinding process. We're not making tens of thousands of dollars, but we're grinding, a couple of $100 per day.
Well, and that's we were talking about this because there are a lot of traders who are going for those big swings. And look, everybody's got their trading strategy. Every strategy can work as long as it's framed and protected properly through risk management and things like that. Some traders will go for those 20-to-1 swings. They may not hit very often, but if they do, they'll knock out 10, 15 losses in a row. So there's that side of things. But when it comes to your strategy, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes in terms of strategy here in a few minutes, but when it comes to how you operate as a trader, as a poker player, you're not going for those big swings, right? Is that sort of the reference that you're making here?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm also grinding in trading as
Mhm.
well. So currently I'm running 20 PA accounts
Mhm.
from Apex and 7 different PA accounts from other firms. So I'm trading 27 PA accounts. And as you know, and also I don't separate those accounts into different chunks.
Okay.
I trade all of those 27 accounts at the same time. So I really need to grind because
Mhm.
otherwise, like losing those 27 PA accounts, it's like a trading with the real money, right? Once
Right.
I lose like $5,000 right there. So
Well, so with that in mind, I mean, if you're trading 20 plus accounts at the same time, there is an absolute necessity of a higher level of risk management than somebody who would say chop up 20 accounts into 4 sets of 5 or 2 sets of 10, right?
mm,
So as you've learned to operate in this manner, how much of that poker mentality has transferred into allowing you to manage that many accounts on a copier at one time?
yeah, it's still very tough and challenging. To be honest, probably not on a conscious level, but unconscious level. I'm on tilt a lot of times.
Mhm.
Um, but I learned throughout those experiences how to control my emotions at like a certain level. So, for
Sure.
example, when I play poker, when I lose a lot of money, the first years, I would go to like I never played baccarat, but what's that? Blackjack. I would go to like a blackjack table and I
Mhm.
would spew, like $1,000 and lose more. So when I'm on a stage that I know that I'm on tilt,
Mhm.
uh, I try to like restrict myself that like disaster doesn't happen.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the running 20 PA accounts. Of course, I have a drawdowns, I have
Mhm.
upswings and drawdowns, but when I have a certain drawdowns, I know that I can get it back.
Mhm.
But at the same time, at any moment, if that goes wrong, I'm gonna lose those 20 PA accounts. So I just, turn off the computer and go to sleep and wake up, and I know that I'll be fine.
So with that in mind, look, tilt is a part of trading. It's a phrase that I use very often. It's an experience that I experience more than I would like, of course, and I think any trader can say that. But when I go on tilt, I know the net result is usually lost accounts. In fact, in the last, I didn't trade last week because I was out of town, but the 2 weeks prior to that, in total, I blew 25 PA accounts. And so my tilt extended beyond just one day, right? But for you, in this, the way that you're managing your accounts, are your bad days taking you all the way out? Like, are you blowing accounts, like blowing 20 plus accounts in one shot? Or have you managed to a certain level of like, okay, I may have gone on tilt, but I'm not totally out of the game yet?
I blew like 5 accounts, like 7 accounts, but I never blew like 20 accounts as a total. So that was a learning experience for me. You know, I was practicing with the three PA accounts and 5 PA accounts, 7 PA accounts. And of course, you know, when I was losing those accounts, I was on tilt, but also the sizing issues. I've tested with actually 2 mini contracts and 1 mini contract, and then 8 micro contracts failed, 6 micro contracts failed, 5 contracts failed, 4 failed. Now I'm on either 2 or 3 micro contracts.
Okay. So when you're talking about grinding, you're really talking about grinding. So what's the longest at this point that you've kept PAs alive? Like, what's your oldest PA in your history of trading at this point in terms of longevity, now that you've sort of figured some of these things out?
Yeah. So the longest account, I think I have like over 95 days. I was just hitting above 4,000, but recently I had some drawdown, so it's sitting above 2,500 now. But when I was making these PA accounts, I didn't make all these PA accounts in one day. So I was making 2 PA accounts, right? So now I have 2 PA accounts. Now I'm copy trading with the 2 other eval accounts. And once I pass, I have a 4 PA accounts. Now I connect to, 1 or 2 or 3 eval accounts. And now I have a 7, then I have a 10 and I have 11, 12. So I think it took more than 2 months to create these 20 PA accounts. So it took a while. And that's why the longest account that I have is over like 90 days.
Right. And we're talking about 90 trading days, right? So like when you look at your dashboard, so 90 trading days is probably going to be closer to like 4 or 5 months. Yeah. So that's in and of itself an impressive feat. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that you're doing in terms of trading, your execution, but more importantly, the risk management that has allowed you to maintain accounts for such a long time in good standing. Let's go ahead and pull up the charts and let's talk about what specifically is working for you at this point.
Okay, great. For over the last 12 months or so, I've tested the different kinds of automations, automated systems. But okay, first of all, a lot of people believe that like automated systems or semi-automated system is not something that you can just turn on and it makes money on behalf of you. It's more of when we try to enter the position, sometimes market moves too fast and we can't, it's challenging to pinpoint the entry, right? Right. So I set the certain criteria and the system just enters for me. Actually, we all use the ATM strategy. So in a way, we're all using this kind of a semi-automated system, I believe. And just in terms of the entry, I use the system. So I know that even when I'm on tilt, I don't overtrade. And also I can just pinpoint the entry. So this is the Unirenko chart that you are looking at. Okay, for those who don't understand the Renko chart and the Unirenko chart, let's pull off the property here. So you're going to see 30, 20, 70. It's actually not very important to understand the offset, but it's important to understand the tick trend as well as the tick reversal. So let's say that these bullish candles, we have a bunch of bullish candles, and this tick trend 30 ticks means that to this bullish direction from the previous candle's close, it has to move a 30 tick increment to form a new candle.
Right. Okay. So to be clear, not time-based candles. These are based on movement.
Yes, not time-based, not execution-based. So tick charts, that's execution-based, right?
Right.
Mini chart, second chart, that's a time-based. But this is
Right.
not time-based, not execution-based. And we have this tick reversal. So in a situation, let's say that we have this bullish market. We know the market will pull back at a certain point. When it pulls back, what a lot of people try to do is to try to long the bottom, but it's extremely tough. Sometimes we have this range bound market where it, just keeps on hitting the bottom and, hitting the resistance. So when we have this tick reversal as a 70 ticks from the previous candle's low to make the reversal bullish candle, it has to move 70 ticks from the bottom to the top.
Right.
So when it pulls back, I don't try to long, the bottom. It's almost impossible, as you know.
Right.
And instead of doing that, I made this. Well, it's the system that you can use. It's one of the third-party vendors. I just activate the enter long with the buy up, sell down with the on bar close. So what's gonna do is I just activate the enter long button as the market pulls back, and once it makes this tick reversal to the bullish candle, then it's gonna enter the position on behalf of me. And once it enters, I set my ATM strategy. I use the ATR. So stop loss is 2 ATR. 2x ATR. So ATR based on this 30 Unirenko chart. So usually it's like ATR is a 15. So 2x ATR is a 30 points, right? So once it enters here, it's gonna set stop loss, 30 point below the entry.
Right.
And then I put 2.3x ATR. So which is a little bit above 30 points. So it's gonna put the profit target above here.
Okay. So you're at a slightly better than 1-to-1 ratio. Obviously with a 30-point stop loss, there is absolutely the size of your position is going to be very, very important. If you're trading a mini, I'm not going to do the math in my head.
$600.
No, I'm not going to do the math in my head. What is that? Yeah, $600.
Yeah.
So unless you're willing to risk $600 on a single trade, well, then of course you have to manage that expectation. So based on this, when you're you're looking for a trending market, you're looking for a pullback, and you're looking for that confirmed reversal. So you need a 70 tick reversal before you enter the trade, which means that your stop loss is still going to probably be below. I guess by definition, it has to be below the swing low. I guess it doesn't have to be. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
but it's going to be below the swing low of that particular leg, and so with something like this, if you're looking for 30 to 40 points on a move, are you trading NQ primarily?
MNQ.
MNQ, of
so,
course, yeah.
Yeah, so this one is NQ. So I'm using Copy Trader. So this is the literal account, and is connected to micro Nasdaq.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Now, are you a pretty good stats keeper? I would imagine as a poker player as well as a trader, that's got to be pretty important to you.
Yeah. I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
You're okay. Probably better than most of us, if we're being honest. If you're okay, that's probably better than the average. So at this point, have you identified a certain win ratio, knowing that that risk to reward is just a little bit better than 1-to-1?
Yes. So my winning percentage is somewhere in between 48 to like 50%, and my win ratio is somewhere in between 1.3 to 1.5.
Okay, gotcha.
It's because also I like adding to my winning positions.
There you go. Okay, so that's part of the risk management strategy. Is now you've identified that you're moving in the right direction. You have the opportunity to capitalize more, which is a great offset to a low risk to reward.
Yeah, definitely. So, for example, I enter here a long position, but I don't enter at the opening. I had no position. I was waiting for some kind of a pullback here to enter the long position, but I didn't have my setup. But let's say that I enter my long position here, and I believe that we have a lot more room to navigate to upside. Then, I have my stop loss here, right? I have my profit target somewhere around. And if the market, trends it toward upside, then I try to find a way to, add to my winning position. Sometimes like I try to add here, and also it's also semi-automated by clicking this add button. So
Okay.
when it makes the new candle high, it
Mhm.
adds a position for me. So once I add my position, I quickly click my break even plus 0 with the offset, or I can offset to like -7. So let's say that I enter here,
Mhm.
and then I add my position here, which means that my new average will be here, right?
Right.
So when the price is above here, and once I click break even -7 offset, this is
Mhm.
my average. It's gonna put my stop from here to right here, 7 ticks below my average price.
Below your new average. Well, and interestingly enough, when you're talking about adding to positions, for those of us who trade on time-based charts, we never know where that candle is going to end or where a new one's going to start forming. Like we know when, we just don't know where. And I've traded more of the movement and the tick-based charts in the past. One of the things that I actually really liked about that was I know where that next candle is going to start, right? So there's a when you're sitting there, like I had an execution button that would basically execute when the next candle formed. The reason that I felt comfortable doing that in that scenario is because I knew exactly what price that would be. Now I might get an off fill or whatever the case may be, but I knew essentially where that price was going to be. And that to me gave me comfort. Whereas you could have a 1 minute chart and you could have this thing like take off the last 2 seconds of the candle, and now all of a sudden you're in a position with a really, really bad fill. That doesn't happen with this type of chart, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, that's exactly correct.
Yeah, I knew there was a point in there somewhere. I was trying to get to. But I love that. So at this point, not only are you obviously trading, playing poker, but you are what one would call an influencer, right? So you've got a big audience. In fact, if I'm not misunderstanding, you have the biggest audience in Korea of prop trading. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So I'm running the biggest futures prop trading community in Korea. It's called Grinding Life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was being an influencer for a while, and then
Yeah.
I found Jay. Jay is a very talented guy, you know.
Right.
I was running a channel which has like 3,000 something subscribers, but Jay was running this poker channel. The subscriber is like over 50,000,
Yeah.
and he's really funny, and yeah, he's a really talented influencer. So I I asked him to, move transition into trading because I knew that
Right.
he was gonna do great.
Mm-hmm.
So now Jay is the main influencer, and I'm supporting Jay to do his job.
So you guys now have Grinding Life for trading is in addition to, I guess, poker. You guys still doing the poker thing?
Jay still does. I'm trying to kind of stay away from poker
Yeah.
because once I get into that poker stuff, I'm very competitive. Like
Yeah.
I have to win. So a lot of times when I play poker, I would play like 24 hours. The longest session that I played was like 40 hours. So like doing that, I can't really run my business.
Sure. And that is a big part of it. I know that for a lot of people, trading becomes a challenge because of the time that it might take away from the job or conflicting hours or things like that. One of the nice things is that a lot of traders have found ways that they can, in 30 to 90 minutes, effectively trade consistently. And with 23/5 hourly schedule for futures, that does open up a lot of possibilities and opportunities. Now, we talked a little bit about your Grinding Life page. Now you're on Instagram at grindinglife_Ryan. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Now, are you doing trading content on there, or is this really kind of more just your personal what you got going on?
Personal and branding.
Branding.
I do. I collaborate with the different companies, with the Apex, with the Ninja Trader, also with the university students. So I do a lot of branding using Instagram. Yeah.
And so, if somebody wanted to follow you now, is there a lot of content in English there, or is it all in Korean?
I try to hashtag in English, so I should say, Yeah, 80% English.
A bit of a mix. Okay, good. All right. So the audience, of course, this being mostly an English-speaking audience, would absolutely get some value out of checking you out. So, of course, highly want to encourage you guys to check Ryan out there. Also, you mentioned something, and I wanted to talk about this because you actually have a pretty close tie with NinjaTrader, right?
Yeah, that's right. So after coming back to Korea, that was 2018, I found that the local platforms that we're using, that's completely different from the ones in the States. And that's when I found the NinjaTrader. Back then I was using NinjaTrader 7, and I was so fascinated by, chart trading, trade performance tab, and backtesting tools. So I found my own company. I built a team, and I just started branding NinjaTrader. So I was recruiting a bunch of NinjaTrader users.
Sure.
And then later I convinced one of the brokerage firms, local brokerage firms, and the CEO of the local brokerage firm, he actually ended up flying to Chicago, and he convinced the NinjaTrader HQ to enter the Korean market. And that was the end of 2022. And then I officially joined the NinjaTrader as a full-time employee from the beginning of 2023.
So what is it about NinjaTrader that has drawn you into that level? Because it sounds like your relationship with them started before their relationship started with you, right? You were involved in exposing that market to the product, which led to, of course, a pretty interesting relationship. So what was it about NinjaTrader that was so appealing to you?
Just the platform. I love a lot of stuff in NinjaTrader. It's so advanced, and I think at some point, in our trading career, we want to execute the stuff that we're thinking that's optimal. And I think NinjaTrader is one of the best tools out there. I know that a lot of people enjoy TradingView, and there's no doubt TradingView is one of the best. It has one of the best UIs, but in terms of pinpointing our entries and executing our tradings, I think NinjaTrader is one of the best platforms.
Well, and I got to tell you, if they actually were Mac friendly, that would be a very tough competition for me, because I have traded both NinjaTrader and TradingView, and I'm a Mac guy, so naturally I sort of have evolved towards TradingView. But I know you and I talked about this as we were preparing for the show. I wish they would do it, but I guess that's not necessarily something that's at least immediately in the cards. It's probably a bigger project than I can expect a resolution here in the next few months. So with your experience in the platform, so obviously you're very comfortable within that platform. How important do you think that is to your trading success? So, in other words, if you shifted to a TradingView, for example, what kind of an impact do you think that would have on your trading in the short term?
That's a very good question. I still use the TradingView for the mobile version and just to navigate the charts. But for example, the stuff that I just explained, it's quite advanced, right? Yeah. And especially when the market moves really fast, I try to capture, this kind of a movement, and it's very tough to be agile, on the spot. Even if I know that, okay, that the market, retraces, when it retraces like 50%, I try to go long. But a lot of times when I click, we're going to click like here or maybe here, it's hard to pinpoint. And that's when I think the NinjaTrader can have a lot of edge.
Right. Well, and ultimately, I think that's what it boils down to as a trader. We have to find the strategy that fits for us. We have to find the platform that fits for us. So there is more to trading than just learning, Fibonacci's or retracements or fair value gaps. I mean, there really is a component of learning how to operate a business of trading. And the components are just generally more than most people expect them to be. But with the right focus and attention, it's not something that's unmanageable. We just need to make sure that we're putting our attention in all of the right places, not just one. And I say this as a trader who's spent a lot of time saying, okay, well, maybe I need to find a new strategy, or I need to hone my strategy. Every conversation most traders have is about strategy. And there's so much more to the world of trading, the discipline, the psychology, the mechanics, and all of these things. So I would absolutely encourage every trader out there to start focusing in on some of these things to make sure that you're a well-rounded and balanced trader versus somebody who's gotten pretty good at one strategy, and heaven forbid something should shift in your one-trick pony. So as John said, yes, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure to follow along as we continue to do more of these shows every week. I can sit here and do this forever. Every time I do this, I look up and I see that clock ticking a little bit further beyond my limits. So without any further ado, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. Ryan, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us today. I would love to be able to remain in contact and continue talking about your journey and your growth, because I know there's some very exciting things ahead for you as a trader as well as an influencer, and the effect that you have not just on the people around you, but the people who watch and follow you as well. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you for inviting me. I actually didn't have enough time to, fully explain my trading strategies. But, once I able to, get paid out from these 20PA accounts, I'll let you know. And please invite me back so I can talk more about my trading strategies.
Yeah, we'll jump deeper into it. I every now and again I bring somebody back in and we get to explore from a different angle. We actually did that with last week's show. Which was a lot of fun as well. We got to get a little bit more granular and into the thick of things. So I would absolutely love to do that with you here when that time comes, when you're ready. For the rest of you guys, of course, we're going to have another phenomenal show back here for you next week. So don't miss it. Make sure to check out apextraderfunding.com. Use promo code Benzinga. That's going to get you the best price on any evaluations. Check out theforgedtrader.com/join, or follow me on social at theforgedtrader. It's always The Forged Trader on TikTok. Just make it a 3 instead of an E at that very last E in trader. Of course, make sure you get that last opportunity to fill out that form in the chat if you want to win one of those 3 Apex Trader Funding evaluations. Have a wonderful week. Go out there and keep it green. And I'll see you guys next week on the next episode of the Trader Bacon Show. Thanks for joining the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Make sure to join us next time, Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern.